Hello everyone! I wanted to share the card we're making today using Emily Moore Designs. I have the front panel, which uses the horizontal pocket die, as well as a sentiment from the Just Wanted to Say sentiment set. I have the decorative sentiment dies as well from here, as well as the inside. And then I've used some sentiment dies on the inside as well. If you want to know how to make this, stay tuned. So first we'll go over everything we need to make the card. The first thing you're going to need is a horizontal pocket die. If you saw on the card, we're not actually going to make a pocket. We're just going to be using this main part as the decorative bordered part. So we'll just trim this part, but I'll show you how to do that in the video. And then the next thing we're going to be using is the Just Wanted to Say stamp set. There are so many different sentiments on here. I'm going to be using Stopping By to Say as well as Miss You Tons for the inside. And then also for the inside panel, we're going to be using the decorative sentiment die. I have the larger one here that I'm going to be using to decorate the inside. And then also this banner will be used to decorate the front. And then for our inside sentiment, I have used the Hi, Hey, Hello word dies. I really love this word die so much because you can pair it with so many different sentiments. I'll be using the Hello Script one today. So the first thing we're going to do is start making our card panel. I'm going to be using the horizontal pocket die, and we're not going to be actually making a pocket. We're just going to be using this border as the decorative edge. So I went ahead and cut this die with some cardstock. I wanted to use solid cardstock this time because I thought that it would really bring out the detail. So I cut it in 2 colors, and you can see there is this dotted line that's supposed to tell you where to fold. We're actually going to just trim that part off so it's just like the rectangle part, and then we can layer this on our card panel for the front of the card panel. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that down, and then I'll come back and we can adhere it on. So I went ahead and trimmed off the edges where there was a folded dotted line, and I wanted to note that this is a A2 card panel. You'll see that when you put it on, there's a slight excess little bit of a card. But that's okay. We're just going to stick it on, and then we can trim off whatever is left over. This is just because this was meant to fit an A2 card, but once we trimmed it off, we have a little extra space. So the first thing I wanted to do was stick the one that's going to be behind first. And the most important thing is we want to make sure that the end of this will be at the left portion of the card. So just kind of eyeball it the best you can and whatever looks good. I like that. I like to leave a little bit of space here just so we have a little bit of white border. So I think that looks good. So we'll go ahead and adhere that down. So I'm going to use liquid glue for this panel, and then I will use foam tape on this to just give a little added dimension. Here's our card panel. As I mentioned, I used liquid glue for the bottom portion. I didn't glue this lacy part because I thought that it looked nice to have a little bit of movement. And then I put a liquid glue on this blue portion just to give it a little dimension. I think it adds interest to the card panel so it's not too flat. And then the next thing I wanted to do was add our sentiment. So I'm going to be using the Just Wanted to Say stamp set. There are so many different ones on here, and I think it can use for so many things. I'm just going to make this a Stopping By to Say Hello card. So I have this sentiment right here that I'm going to be stamping on. I'm thinking of doing it right here. And I really love the look of white embossing powder, so I'm going to do that in white over here. And I think that'll also bring out the white on the card panel as well. This is how it looks with the white embossing. Like I said, I think it really matches nicely with the white panel. I do have some other ideas I want to decorate to the front later, but I want to go ahead and start with the card panel, or sorry, the actual card first, and then we can come back and decorate the front as needed. And like I mentioned, this is just going to be a hello card, but I always like to decorate the inside of my card when I can, and I think this is a really great occasion to just make it look a little pretty. So I have a card base here that I folded, and I'm going to be using the decorative sentiment dies. There's so many different ones on here, and I actually think I'm going to be using some of these banner ones for the front later on. but let's work on the inside first, like I said. So I use this larger decorative die, and I just use pattern paper and cut out 2 of them because I want to decorate both sides. I really, really love how this detailed border looks. I think it adds really nice, delicate touch to it. So I cut out 2 of the same, and we're going to adhere it on both sides like this, so it'll look the same when you open it. I want to keep it a little bit simple with the pattern because I know that I wanted to add a sentiment and I didn't want it to be too busy. So we'll go ahead and adhere this on, and then we can come back and start with our sentiment. So here is the inside panel that I've decorated. I used 2 of the decorative sentiment die, as I mentioned, and now I have the hi, hey, hello word dies. I'm going to be using the hello script one. I cut it out in the same cardstock I use in the front just to keep the cohesive look going, and I'm gonna just stick it right here on the side, so when you open it, it'll be the sentiment that you see. So it's gonna say hello, and like I mentioned, there's so many nice sentiment words on this Just Wanted to Say one, and I think I'm going to be using this Miss You Tons and just stamp it underneath. I was kind of debating which one I wanted to do because there's so many ones that could work with this. So of course you can change this out depending on what occasion you're looking for. So I'll adhere this on, and then I'll stamp this as well. I'm going to use black ink. I think that'll look nicely against the background. Otherwise it might get kind of lost in the pattern. So here is the hello sentiment that I adhered down, and then I stamped Miss You Tons in black. I think that shows up nicely against the pattern paper. And now we have lots of extra space to write a message or anything else you want in the future whenever you use this card. And then I went ahead and adhered the card panel to the front. And since we trimmed this horizontal pocket die smaller, it left a little border on the card panel. I always like a little border, so that looks really nice for me. If you don't like it, you can always trim your card panel or add another piece of paper underneath just to not have that white border. I think it looks nice, so I'm going to keep it like that. So this is our card as of now. We have the front, and then the inside I think it's really cute with the pattern paper and this really nice detailed around the edge. And then our sentiment. And as I mentioned earlier, as part of the decorative sentiment die, you get so many little dies that you can use for so many things. I am going to use this banner die over here, and I cut it out in the same pattern paper as the inside, again just to keep the same color scheme going. This is a pattern that I tend to do, in case you haven't noticed. I like to use the same patterns and colors in the front and back just to keep it cohesive. And I'm going to adhere it to the top to give a little design. I'm going to cut this in, I guess half or maybe a little less, because I want it to be like one banner a little shorter and then a little bit longer. And we can do that with just the one banner. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually not cut it in half, but cut it maybe like 3/4. So I have like this, and then I'm going to put, like, I just eyeballed that, so there's no really measurement, but do whatever looks good for you. And then I have the smaller one at the front and then the longer one like that. And I think that just adds a little more interest to the card because it was looking a little bit plain for my liking. Here's our final card. We have the horizontal pocket die in 2 colors, and then this sentiment is from the Just Wanted to Say sentiment set. I stamped it in white embossing. And then I have the decorative sentiment die. There's a banner one in that packet that I just cut in half to add a little extra interest to the front. And then when you open it, it's beautiful with this decorative sentiment die. I really love this border so much. And then we have the hello sentiment as well as the Miss You Tons. And like I said, there's a lot of extra space to write a note or to add anything else you want. And I just love how this card turned out. So thank you for watching.